Check out the Male Advantage paperback, ebook, and audiobook using the links below. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about something that is perhaps one of the most important things that can happen in male life, or that needs to be discussed in male life. But apart from, I think, myself that I've heard, I don't think many other people or anybody has ever really spoken about this. And as I said, I've spoken about this before, but I've never spoken about it in this level of detail. And it's that 90% of men are unattractive. And that's not what people haven't spoken about. I'm going to go into detail in a minute about kind of fat storage and the way that it goes and how that impacts lifestyle, you know, how it all blends together. But this is the kind of point of the video, like why 90% of men are unattractive, okay? And the one thing that I want to start this video with is the fact that to reach peak attractiveness, studies have shown that a man needs to be around about 10% body fat. Now, once he reaches 10% body fat, it's very much more likely that his face is going to go from round to angular. And as we all know, an angular face is far more better looking, if you would, than a rounder face, especially for a man. It's going to make you look significantly better bone structure. It's going to bring out your features. You know, if you can add a decent body to that as well, like you're flying basically. Like we all know this, okay guys? Skin looks better, the blood circulation's better, like everything is just healthier. I know from experience right now, I'm about 16% body fat I'm at the end of this bulk. I've literally just finished it. And I know from experience that like my breathing is worse. Like I wake up in the morning, my nose is just like kind of blocked and sniffly, and I need to kind of blow it for a couple times. It's just from lack of cardio, lack of drainage. You're not sweating, you're not moving, you're just lifting heavy weights, you're eating in a surplus, like your body's stuffed up. And it's only so long, especially in winter with like your heating on, etc. There's only so long that you can do that before you start looking significantly worse. So we all know 10% body fat, you know, in a healthy lifestyle and the correct type of cardio, you know, getting a good sweat on just makes you look significantly better. Now, on the other side of the coin, and this is what I want to base this whole video around, is that they found that the body fat percentage where women look best, according to the biggest variety of men, was 20% body fat. Okay, so double what a man's was. Now, for me personally, I mean, I have a large range of women that I'm interested in, but I would still be interested in women that are up to like 30% body fat. Okay, and that's just to kind of highlight a point that if a guy was 30% body fat, no chance he's getting any women. 20% body fat, you know, again, not really a high chance. The average guy's 21% body fat, so he's probably going to get a partner, but not the one he wants. If a guy was 15% body fat, it's better, but he's still struggling, okay? Until you get like sub 14, maybe sub 12, probably sub 12, it's just difficult before that, okay? You just look puffy, it just doesn't emit masculinity, like there's no angularity to your face, if you would. That would not work the other side of the coin with women. So if 20 is the most attractive for a woman, okay, deemed by the vast majority of society, well then, you know, you think, okay, if a man doesn't look good at 15, so a woman wouldn't look good at 25. No, she does. Like, there's plenty of women that are like considered thick, okay, they're a little bit more curvy, that are like 30% body fat, okay, and guys are hugely interested in them. They think they're absolutely gorgeous. It's my perfect woman, you know. You don't get that effect with men. It's either sub 12 or you're fucked, pretty much, okay, or not you're fucked, it's sub 12 or you've got to go after lower quality women, or just uglier women that don't have as many options. So in order to get to that top level, you need low percentage body fat, okay? And this is one thing that nobody ever talks about, and I talked about this on a video before, as I told you guys. Let's say, perfect example, you're 21 years old, and I used this example before, so some of you remember this. You're 21 years old, you're dating a 21-year-old girl, or you're chasing after her, and you're basing your whole life around what she wants to do. So she says, I look like a vicar, don't I, with the white bit underneath. It's really fucking frustrating. Don't know why. She says, oh, let's go to the pub, let's have a couple of drinks, or the bar, or whatever. And she's 21, she's young and beautiful, she wants to dress up, go out. drink a bit. She wants to go, like when you come home, she wants to have a couple cheat meals, some pizzas, some ice cream. Oh, I love spending time with my boyfriend. Let's do cuddles. I want to go to the gym Sunday morning. No, come on, stay with me. Let's cuddle more. Here's what happens, okay? You live that lifestyle for 3, 4, 5 years with her. She ends up looking better. You end up looking worse. And that's evident of these body fat percentages. Because if you're living that lifestyle, and let's say she was at 21, she might have been like 18% body fat. Going out, drinking alcohol, these kind of, eating the cheat meals, watching movies, not going to the gym, not really taking care of herself, she ends up 25% body fat, and she's actually hotter than she was before. Okay, so now she's got more options, she's looking better, she's even curvier, like, you see those guys, right, a guy who's like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, and his girl's like a 9, and then you see pictures of them when they got together, and she was only like a 6. Well, a lot of that is what's happening. She's like coming into her peak because of the lifestyle, and he's just dropping off the radar. So let's say the average guy is 21% body fat. Maybe he was like 14, 15% body fat when they got together. He's now rocking up at like 21% body fat, the average, and he looks like dog shit. He's 11% body fat away from his peak looks, whereas she looks fantastic. She actually looks better than she did before. And I know I said 20% is like considered the peak, but you've got to take into account there's a lot of guys that actually prefer thicker women. So that's almost like, when girls say we love dad bods, they don't love dad bods like we see them. They love like Jason Momoa taking his life a little bit less seriously, and he's 14% body fat. Like, that's what they love, okay? That's what they consider a dad bod. It's like they say Vince Vaughn, it's not like he's famous, it's different rules, okay? It's not, but that's not what they want. Like, it's a completely different rule set. That's like them saying, oh, we love guys who are obese. Like, we love them. Like, there's a percentage of girls out there that love obese guys. It would be like the same fucking thing. And that's how lucky women are, that they can go out, they can get drunk, etc. They can eat shit food, and their lives may actually improve, whereas yours as a man, and you need to remember this, will fall flat on his face. And you have to be so careful, guys, because, while you're trying to chase these young, beautiful women that you can't get anyway at a young age, or like they don't want you, or it's a short fling, and then they realize you're broke and they move on anyway. By getting chubby and not realizing and just not taking care of that body fat percentage, that health, that good skin, the low water retention, all this other shit, you end up missing out on that crop of women and the next crop as well, because you're just like, you don't know how to sort it out from that point, or it's gone too far that way, you don't have time to fix it, and it's just a massive slip up, okay? And to go on from this, women store body fat first and foremost. This is the first 4 places that it goes on for women and men, okay? For women, it's hips, ass, tits, and thighs. Perfect. Fantastic. That's exactly where she wants it to go. So not only is she getting heavier, fatter, whatever, okay, and we're thinking, okay, we're both putting on body fat here, but she's putting it on in the 4 most attractive areas, excluding face, where, she doesn't actually put it on in the face first. It goes in those 4 areas first. So that's what I mean. She's going to become more attractive. She's now got the same face, the same body, the same waist, etc., the same arms, whatnot, but thighs, arse, hips, and tits are bigger. It's like a fucking cheat code. It's so easy for them. On the other side of the coin, for men, we put it on 4 places first: belly, love handles, chin, and face. The 4 worst areas, okay? We look like complete shit. How ridiculous is that, guys? And that expresses my point, okay? And it kind of stumbles across the point that I made at the start, which is why 90% of men are unattractive. It's because our beauty standards, although women say, oh, women's beauty standards are so high, they're not. They're not, okay? Most men find most women attractive. It's very easy. But for men, it's like there's such a small percentage of guys that are under 12% body fat. I actually found a study which said 28% of men in America 20 years ago, I couldn't find any new data, so 20 years ago, 28% of men in America had less than 12% body fat. Now, as we know America today, or the world today in general, but especially America, that's more likely something like 15 to 20% today. It's probably significantly lower. Now, if you were to remove all the skinny guys, because back in 20 years ago, there's a lot of skinny guys. Like, people didn't go to the gym and stuff like that. Just a lot of cardio. It was easier. There wasn't, Netflix, processed food and stuff like that. Like, people were a lot more active, okay? So if we were to say 15% of guys today in America are under 12% body fat, remove all the skinny guys. That's not fair. They're just, that's not attractive. Like, there's plenty of guys that are like 8% body fat, but they've never lifted a weight in their life, and they just don't look good. They look like little boys. Well, remove that. Then remove all of the young guys, because they don't have enough money, they don't have the assets in place. Women don't really find guys attractive before the age of like 24, 25. There's data on this. They might sleep with them because they're their own age and they're at a party with them, whatever. But like, genuine attraction where it could go somewhere, and they, a mature attraction, it's before 24, 25. Guys don't really come in, don't really find that anyway. And it's, in my opinion, until 28, you're basically just a fuckface. Like, I don't think anything, you've got nothing decent to show unless you're like a rare outlier male. There's a few out there, but the majority of men have got nothing really going on, okay? So with that being said, if we take those guys out of that, like 15, 20%, if you would even, I think that's is your 10%. Like, that's your 10% of attractive guys. The ones that are of age, the ones that aren't just skinny, and they're sub 12% body fat. Like, that's where your 10% of guys out of why 90% of men are unattractive. I personally think there's a big reason why. Because men and women are living the same lives. They're both watching Netflix. They're both eating the same foods. They're both sat at office desks all day. They're both drinking alcohol. But women look significantly better because of this lifestyle. And estrogen's going up because of this lifestyle. For men, estrogen is going up. Testosterone is coming down. And that lifestyle is negatively impacting them. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing happening to both of us. It's just we put it on in our belly, love handles, chin and face. And anything over 10% body fat makes you look worse. Whereas for a woman, they put it on in their hips, arse, tits and thighs. And anything between 20 and 30 makes them look fucking fantastic anyway. So it's like the same shit is happening. Life is affecting us both in the same way, but they look significantly better. It's benefiting them. It's making us look like shit, okay? So I think that's where your 10% of men are attractive comes from, that women are finding attractive. The ones that are sub 12% body fat. So if you want to do anything to make yourself more attractive, get that body fat percentage down after a bulk, after putting on some muscle, get that down, you'll move into that bracket immediately. From there, it depends how far you want to take it, okay? But then you even have to think further that these studies that I've shown you before about 90% of men being unattractive in the eyes of women, that's all women, okay? So that 10% that are attractive, that's being voted for by women that are 1 to 10. Women that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I assume every guy watching this wants to be with 6 minimum, okay? Let's say 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s is what you're interested in, which is fair enough. Well, the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, they might only find something like 4% of men attractive. It might be significantly less. So you think out of every 1,000 men, only 40 are deemed attractive. Okay, now out of those 40% of men, that's just, out of those 40 men, because that's just facial, body, whatever, like they just find them physically attractive. How many of those guys are earning enough money or in a position of life set up where they can provide for this woman, or they satisfy her needs to move forward at the level that she believes she's at? And then how many have got, the correct level of confidence, like all the other things that come with this, that dress correctly? Like, that percentage of guys right there, even though it says 90% of men are unattractive, I think once, we get past the physical just looks and we look at it as a whole fucking package, and we look at it as looks, income, the ability to be able to provide, his viability to be a father or a husband or whatever, like she's looking for, I would say at the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, probably find 1% of men actually attractive. Okay, so out of 1,000 men, there's only 10 that they're considering an option, which is why you find these guys in this generation, like there's a massive pool of incels. There's a massive pool of guys who have locked down a woman way uglier than them just because they're scared shitless of being alone. But then there's this very, very, very small pool of guys, 1% of men, the top 1% of men, who the gap between them and everyone else is absolutely enormous, and they're just cleaning up. They've got women thirsting after them. They could cheat on these women and these women come back to them. We see this all the time, and everyone says, oh, it's the bad boy effect. It's because he's a bad boy. It's because he can get away with it because there's no competition. There's like 10 of him in every 1,000 people. Like if you were looking at that, what would that be in terms of, so it's 1%, so we're looking at 1,000,000. So there's only 10,000 of versions of him in every, million people. That is microscopic, guys. That is such a small percentage of people. Like only 10,000. Like let's say your city has a population of 3 million and there's only 30,000 guys that can compete with you. And then you're 30 years old, okay? So there's at least half of those guys are going to be over that age. They're going to be a little bit older than you. So you might be looking at, with your age, with everything that you've accomplished, with your body fat, with the attraction scale that I just laid out, you might be looking at, 5,000 guys that can really compete with you. Because there might be guys that are like 10% body fat that are like 42, which again is fantastic. That's a great life. But if a woman is 21 years old in her prime, she probably wants to be with the 30-year-old who's got all that shit together. It's just harder to find because most guys don't get their shit together till later in life. But I'm just saying with that combination, your rarity scale is off the scale. You are globally rare. Like who is on that level in this era for you? With that combination of age, wealth, body fat percentage, in terms of your looks, your fashion, everything. That's an easy game for you if you get to that point, okay, guys? That's very, very tough. But that, for me, explains why 90% of men are unattractive, because men and women are living the same lifestyle. Wake up, eat some cereal, watch a bit of TV, go to work, sit at the desk all day, come home, watch Netflix. Like, there's no difference, okay? And that's why when couples get together and they break up, the woman just goes, rebound, bang, she finds someone else in 2 weeks. Someone as good as you, better than you, usually an upgrade. It's very easy for them to do because they are still attractive in the eyes of men. Whereas in reverse, if a guy lives that lifestyle, he starts putting on the weight in his belly, love handles, chin and face, where does that lead? Like, he's not going to be able to make that rebound. That woman loves him because she's been with him for a while and they've shared those memories and they've kind of bonded. But now that she doesn't like the way he looks, he's getting lazy, he's not got the energy he used to have, his dick doesn't work like it used to, he's not as passionate about sleeping with her as he used to. Well, when they break up, she's perfectly positioned to move on. Even if she's 30% body fat, she's, still in her prime. If she's like 22 years old, 30% body fat, she's still cleaning up. She's still getting pretty much any guy she wants. But as a man, if you've even gone up to 16% body fat since you met when you were 10% body fat, well, it's a shit show for you. It's going to be so much harder. Okay, you still have options. There's still guys out there 16% body fat that are getting girls, but it's not going to be as quick and easy. And I think that explains perfectly why 90% of men are unattractive. And then if we're going to talk about the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, I think 99% of men are unattractive to these women. I really do. And I think that's why there's a very small microscopic group of men who are just cleaning up, who are taking every woman that's hot for themselves. Okay, and they've got them all competing, and it's just a fucking feeding frenzy. And I think for you guys, I've just finished my bulk and I'm going to go into maintenance and I'm in maintenance now. I'm going to do my cut. I'm on the dandelion extract. I bought a bunch of ingredients that are going to go into my natural diuretic supplement soon. And I'm just kind of testing them out, seeing how it works on me and whatnot. And I'm going to really push towards that low body fat percentage again. I might even be able to make 9 this year, I think, in my opinion. 9 or 10 is my aim. I think you guys, unless you're currently in a bulk, but I think if you're in a position to get lean, I think you should do it, okay? Because I used to say to guys, 8% body fat to 16% body fat is the perfect range to build muscle and keep testosterone high, which it is, okay? But once you get to above 14% body fat, in my personal opinion, you start to look like shit. I think it doesn't look good. So I would now bring that down. I would say for aesthetic purposes, once you've done your first bulk and you've got fat, you've done all the shit, whatever, I would say some mini bulks, 4-month bulks like I've just done, where you can go from 9-10% body fat up to 13-14, and as soon as you start thinking, okay, I'm getting puffy, I'm losing my abs, go into maintenance and work your way back. Because instead of doing a 6-month bulk, you end up only having to do a 4-month bulk, plus a month or 2 of maintenance where you really restore your gains, get rid of a lot of the puffiness, maybe even drop a body fat percentage just through water retention alone. And then it's an easy fall down from 13 back to 10. It's very easy. You could do that in 3 months. Well, that's January, February, March, bang, summer's underway. there you are, okay? So I think stay within that range, because it just seems like women have got a massive window of like 20 to 30% body fat. Even under that, they probably like 18 to probably even like 35. They're probably still deemed attractive by the majority of society, as long as they've got the right shape and curves and whatever, and like all comes together. Especially in like different communities, different parts of the world. You know, in like Latin America, 35% body fat is probably deemed really, really attractive. In a lot of parts of like Black America, if you could even go up to 40% body fat, and women would still be deemed attractive. So they have this massive leeway that they can fuck around in and still be deemed attractive. For us, we're on a tightrope. It's a tiny little window. I would say personally, 8% body fat to 14, and that's a push. Like, it might even be 8 to 12. 8, 12, 8 to 13. But let's, as a healthy window, let's just use 8 to 14. So I used to say 8 to 16, 8 to 14. Just get, down to a lowest body fat percentage you can in a healthy manner. Just do these mini bulks, mini cuts. Because I think once you step outside, if you've got the opportunity to do so and you don't care, maybe like when it was COVID and you don't want to go anywhere, you could bulk up a little bit further because it doesn't matter because you're not outside. But in this kind of social media, image-driven world, where everybody is judged on kind of external appearance first, and what you have and what you've accomplished and how you look and whatever, what car do you drive and all this shit, I don't think you can step too far out of 14% body fat before things start to like fall down, and then it affects your mental health, your quality of life, whatever. It's just, I'm not sure if it's worth it, okay? So just to wrap up, 90% of men are unattractive. I would say 99% of men are unattractive to the women that they actually want, 7s, 8s, 9s and 10s. It's probably the most effective thing you can do in terms of men's self-improvement, men's lifestyle, is get down to like 10% body fat. Probably side by side with getting rich, because getting rich, you can hire a personal trainer and then trigger all the other shit. Do you know what I mean? But they're probably the two most important things. And it explains a lot as to why there's so many incels and why there's so many women that are competing over a very small percentage of guys. But it's a great video, guys, because when you think about it, it shows you the opportunity. If you can rise up that ladder, if you can give... I was speaking to somebody a minute ago and I said, because I'm cancelling my gym membership because I'm moving, I was like, when did you guys open again? I can't remember if I did a 12-month or whatever. He was like, oh, it was April. I was like, fuck, really? Like only basically like 9 months ago? So 9 months ago, I was just starting my cut. I got into that gym. I got down to 10% body fat. I've had SMP. I've sold all my supplements. I've had a book published, pushed that out there. I've done a whole bulk in that gym. I'm just starting to cut again. It's like, Jesus Christ, you can do a lot in a short space of time, guys. So if you just gave yourself like 3 years, the position you can put yourself in compared to the majority of other men, very likely you can be in that top 10% comfortably, if not top 5% in a 3-year window, regardless of where you really started. Okay, it doesn't take that long. And I think in 5 years of self-improvement and men's lifestyle, like kind of focus, I think any guy can get into that top 1%, but it just takes hard work. And there's so many different components that you need to be doing. So I think if anything, you should take a positive away from this video, guys. But it is alarming to know that we're on a fucking tightrope. It's completely different standards. The same sort of lifestyle is affecting us 10 times more than it does women. It explains a lot. Check out the Male Advantage paperback, ebook, and audiobook using the links below.